The drama surrounding Mike Tyson has never really been about boxing alone. It has always lived somewhere deeper, in that volatile space where fear, pride, rage, and raw violence collide. Tyson was never just a heavyweight champion. He was a force of nature, a living consequence for anyone reckless enough to confuse confidence with disrespect. Time and again, men stepped into his orbit believing the hype was exaggerated, that the legend could be tested, mocked, or diminished. And time and again, they learned the same brutal lesson. You don't piss off Mike Tyson and walk away whole. Tyson came from a world where respect wasn't given freely and weakness was hunted. By the time he reached the professional ranks, that mentality had fused with terrifying athletic ability. Every insult, every smirk, every careless word spoken into a microphone became fuel. Tyson didn't bark back. He didn't need to. The ring was where debts were collected, and interest was always high. When opponents crossed that invisible line from competition into disrespect, the result was rarely just a loss. It was humiliation, pain, and sometimes a permanent stain on their legacy. One of the earliest examples of this came in the form of Andrew Golota, a fighter infamous not for skill, but for filth. Golota built his reputation on dirty tactics, low blows, and an apparent willingness to do anything except fight clean. Even before he shared the ring with Tyson, fear was written all over him. Cameras caught it in his eyes, in the way he couldn't bring himself to look at Tyson directly, in the nervous energy that betrayed everything his bravado tried to hide. When the bell rang, it was less a boxing match and more a public execution. Tyson charged like a predator, his punches slamming into Golota with violent intent. Each right hand landed with authority, folding the larger man again and again. Golota went down, got up, and went down again, clinging to survival until the bell became his only lifeline. When he finally quit after 2 rounds, fleeing the ring to a chorus of boos and flying debris, it wasn't just defeat, it was disgrace. The crowd knew it. Tyson knew it. And Golota would forever be remembered not as a challenger, but as a coward who poked the beast and paid for it. But the most personal rage Tyson ever carried was reserved for Larry Holmes. Years earlier, a teenage Tyson had watched in horror as his hero, Muhammad Ali, was dismantled by Holmes. Ali was already fading, Parkinson's beginning its cruel work, yet Holmes showed no mercy. Tyson cried that night, and in that pain, he made a promise to himself. One day, he would avenge Ali. When that day finally came in 1988, Holmes made the fatal mistake of underestimating the man standing across from him. He mocked Tyson publicly, dismissing him as unworthy, claiming Tyson couldn't carry his jockstrap. Those words didn't provoke a response. They didn't need to. Before the fight, Ali himself approached Tyson and asked him to do what he could not. That moment sealed Holmes' fate. From the opening bell, Tyson was relentless. His fists were hammers, each combination driving Holmes backward, forcing him to confront the reality he had refused to acknowledge. Holmes tried to rally, to summon the resilience of his prime, but every right hand from Tyson erased another piece of his confidence. When Holmes went down for the first time, the arena erupted. When he rose, it only delayed the inevitable. Tyson's final assault was merciless, a missile barrage that ended with Holmes crumpled on the canvas. It wasn't just a knockout. It was vengeance, delivered with precision, and a promise kept to a fallen idol. Disrespect came in many forms, and sometimes it arrived wrapped in arrogance rather than history. Donovan Razor Ruddock was a wrecking machine in the early 1990s, a man who believed his power made him untouchable. He spoke openly about killing Tyson in the ring, about ending his career in the most final way imaginable. When they finally collided in 1991, Ruddock came out swinging, landing shots that would have shaken lesser men. For a moment, it looked like Tyson might be tested, but Tyson didn't panic. He absorbed the blows, adjusted, and then unleashed hell. His combinations tore through Ruddock's guard, each punch heavier than the last. By the 7th round, the referee had seen enough. Ruddock, once so confident in his own destruction, stood defeated, his bravado beaten out of him punch by punch. Earlier still, Tyson faced Jose Ribalta, a massive heavyweight who believed size alone could conquer speed and ferocity. Ribalta's camp talked confidently, dismissing Tyson as untested. When the fight began, Ribalta tried to impose his will, tying Tyson up, leaning on him, testing his patience. Tyson responded with violence. Uppercut snapped Ribalta's head back. Hooks smashed into his face, transforming it into a swollen mess. Ribalta's jaw kept him upright longer than expected, even earning a flicker of surprise from Tyson himself. But survival was all he achieved. The outcome was never in doubt. Tyson broke him down until a referee intervened, proving yet again that arrogance and durability were not substitutes for skill or respect. Some disrespect spilled beyond the ropes. Mitch Green, a gang leader and fringe boxer, publicly threatened Tyson, boasting about killing him. Their professional fight became less about competition and more about punishment. Tyson dominated Green over 10 rounds, deliberately avoiding a knockout so he could inflict prolonged suffering. Years later, when Green confronted Tyson on the street, looking for redemption, the outcome was even quicker. One punch sent Green to the hospital, and that single moment was powerful enough to change the trajectory of his life entirely. Tyson's message had been delivered without ambiguity. The birth of Tyson's legend truly came against Trevor Berbick, the man who had taken Ali's last fight and helped push him into retirement. Berbick was dirty, mocking, and careless, taunting Tyson during the bout. That was a mistake. Tyson stalked him, landing punches that disoriented and dismantled him. When Berbick fell, tried to stand, and collapsed again in a heap of tangled legs, it was symbolic. The old guard had fallen. A new king had arrived. At just 20 years old, Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history, and the division would never feel safe again. Tyrell Biggs learned a similar lesson. An Olympic gold medalist, Biggs publicly belittled Tyson, claiming he would beat him like a father disciplines a son. Early in the fight, Biggs tried to frustrate Tyson, keep his hands low, showing confidence. But confidence without caution is an invitation. Tyson detonated a left hook that changed everything. From that moment on, Biggs was no longer in control. He was surviving. Tyson pounded him until his legs betrayed him, sending him into unconsciousness and silencing every word he had spoken before the fight. When Tyson returned to boxing in 1995 after prison, the world watched closely. Peter McNeely, loud and reckless, volunteered to welcome him back. McNeely talked, postured, promised chaos. What he got was reality. He charged Tyson like a man possessed and was immediately dropped. He rose, only to fall again. The hurricane became a breeze, then nothing at all. Tyson dispatched him quickly, adding another name to his growing collection of cautionary tales. Frank Bruno believed strength and size would save him. He insulted Tyson openly, declaring there was no way he could lose. Once the fight began, Bruno's confidence evaporated. Tyson's hooks landed clean and hard, driving Bruno into survival mode. Clinching became Bruno's only defense, but even that failed. Tyson's final combination sent him crashing down, unconscious, his words rendered meaningless. Carl Williams had history with Tyson, once beating him in sparring when Tyson was still a teenager. Years later, that memory burned. When they finally met in the ring, it took one punch. A single left hook erased years of bragging, dropping Williams cold in the first round. Whatever